What is up? What is up, everybody? How is everyone doing today? So excited.
Our last episode.
It's so sad.
And this is another boring topic. I feel like the last couple have been things that people would be rolling their eyes on. Yeah.
When we talk about money?
Not you. You don't. Some people don't think it's boring.
Exciting.
But most of the regular everyday people think that this is boring.
Well, we're talking about money today.
Money. Yes.
Financing.
Very important. A very, very important topic. Because I feel like so many businesses are underfunded. That's probably one of the top 5 reasons, probably top 3 reasons that businesses fail is because they're underfunded.
Money makes the world go around.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get in it.
Let's do it. The Business Project Podcast.
Business can be complicated.
We break it down so regular people like us
Can understand and find success. I'm John Crespo, accountant and consultant.
I'm Casey Bryant, marketer and event planner.
If you run a business
or want to run a business,
welcome to the show.
John's over here burping. What did you have?
I tried to mute
Your
my
oatmeal?
microphone. Oatmeal and then chocolate, so it's not a good combination.
No. Hey guys, welcome back to our final episode of this series. This is the 15th episode.
I feel like we need like Boys to Men playing in the background. It's so hard to say goodbye.
But we're not
really
saying goodbye. No.
Right? Just to this series. But it's good. We've reached the completion of the step-by-step guide to for businesses starting up or in business, but to make you successful.
Yep. We've covered so many different topics. We've talked about getting your business license. We've talked about setting up your accounting. We've talked about your social media and marketing and branding. And so by now, if you are a startup business, you should have almost every single resource that you need in order to get her going and make some money.
Yeah, and remember, those episodes are just high level, but you got to go to thebusinessproject.com to get the in-depth stuff, the actual step-by-step check marks, PDFs, everything you need to really dot your I's and cross your T's, which is the goal. That's what we want.
That is the goal.
Yeah.
Homework and resources and all of the things are on thebusinessproject.com, which is nice.
Yeah, for sure. So this week, our final week, we're getting into small business financing.
Small business financing. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And you have an expert here.
Yeah.
You've been in financing for how long?
Over about 12, 13 years now.
Yeah.
14? A long time. I'm old, man. I can't even
think
back that far anymore.
No.
But this is, I love this topic. This is a very popular topic. It's not boring, as Casey says, because everybody on YouTube looks for this.
It is very important. I guess it's not fun like branding when I say boring, but branding's not fun to some people too. So
you have your creative
specialties
here, your creative person here who loves the branding and the marketing and all that side of business. And me, I'm your boring numbers person.
Nerd.
I'm the
You're not. I'm just joking. Kind of.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
I'll take it. It's all good. So.
All right. Yes, I'm excited to learn. So small business financing, there's several different ways to get startup capital for your business. And we've talked about the getting like a startup budget. And we talked about you probably are going to need more money to get started than you can even imagine right now because there are going to be things that come up that you're going to have to cover. And you want to start a business right. You want to start it professionally. You want to have good branding. You want to have all your systems and processes in place, which we did a podcast about before too. And you just want to do it right, because if you start and you pinch pennies and you don't put the proper funding and financing into your startup business, people are going to be able to see that.
Right.
We don't want a logo that looks like it was created on Word.
Going to see the lack of quality, the lack of investment into your own business.
So what are some ways that businesses can get financing to start their business? Besides, obviously, and you might have this on your list, but I know for ours to get started, we did a HELOC on our house and took the HELOC and used that money, which is a home equity line of credit, by the way, which I learned. And we took that money and put it into starting up our business. And I think that's a popular one, but it's not really business specific, right? That's just kind of random.
It's like self-funding. So that's a self-funding way, and it's probably the self-funding way is the most common way to fund a business, whether it's a home equity line of credit, whether it's a savings account that you're taking from, a retirement account that you're taking from, that's self-funding your business. So, a lot of people, actually, it's a good way to fund your business because you've created that cushion, and probably you created it for the purpose of starting a business. So self-funding is not a bad way. But what you were touching on before that I want to elaborate on, and I think we can dig a little bit deeper on there, is the proper preparation before even thinking about funding, right? Have you done the right research? Have you listened to every other week of our podcast and created your business plan and realized how you're going to generate money and how your business is going to operate in that way? Because before you get looking for funding for your business, you got to figure out how you're going to pay that back. Right? Your business has to generate revenue. You have to manage your expenses so that you can support funding for your business.
And it all sounds like a dream when you start in. Like I know most business owners, and me included in this, when you start a business, you're like, oh, everybody is going to love this. We're going to open the doors and people are going to come flocking. This is the best idea ever. People are just going to run to it and we're going to have no problem making money. But in all reality, 99.9999% of the time that actually doesn't happen. And so if you're not prepared for that, then you're not going to be successful.
Right. Yeah. You don't want to put yourself in a situation where you borrowed some money that you can't pay back. Because that's going to get ugly. Because in the beginning, when you first start your business, for the most part, you're guaranteeing any money that you're getting access to. So you're doing what's called a personal guarantee. And that means you're signing your name on the dotted line as the person that the bank or the lender is going to go to if your business can't pay this loan or line of money. If the business doesn't pay it, they come after you personally. It doesn't matter the entity that you've established. You can be a corporation, you can be an S Corp, LLC, but if you signed your name as a guarantor for funds for your business, the bank can come after you if you don't pay it.
Because you're usually in that situation, you're using a personal property as a guarantee. What's it called? Not guarantee.
Personal guarantee.
As
a collateral.
Yeah. Thank you, for the money, right?
Yep.
So, yeah.
Exactly. So you're using a property, you're using your own credit as collateral, your own income as collateral. So those are very popular when it comes to applying for a credit card or applying for a line of credit for your business. Personal guarantees are very popular in the beginning when you're first starting out.
So what are some other options that you have if they don't own a house or they don't have something that they can put collateral on?
So here's my steps for before you can get business funding for your business. Number one is make sure your personal credit and your personal profile is good, right? Make sure that you've taken care of your personal credit. And before you start a business, make sure that you're working, right? Don't just say, I'm going to start a business, so I'm going to quit my job today because this business that's in my mind is going to be successful. So I'm quitting my job and I'm starting my business, and I have nothing to back me up if this business doesn't become successful, right? You got to get to that point.
That's cool that you say that, because now that I think back in my head, a lot of businesses that I've followed on the journey that are now successful started while they were working a job.
Yep. They started as a side hustle.
They did.
Yep. So you start your business as a side hustle, right? And as your side hustle grows in expectation and starts pulling your attention, right? Then you get to a point in your journey that you have to decide, okay, is the time I'm making this much money in my side hustle. It's pulling me away from being able to be effective in my job, my W-2 job. So should I now go and focus on this full time? That's when you decide, okay, let me make sure I get some funding in place because I'm in a position where I'm working. I manage my credit, so I have good credit. So now let me get some funding in place so that my business can carry itself for a couple months so I can continue generating more revenue, so I'll be fine. I've been able to replace my income.
Yeah, that's something that you really need to consider too, is that when you first start a business, it's not going to make money on day one, most likely. And you're going to need 6 months to a year of money to be able to pay your personal bills and to pay things that you need to replace your job or whatever you were bringing money in from before. And so make sure that you work that into the numbers. Hey, how am I going to survive for 6 months or a year without, if no income were to come in, how would that happen?
Right. So let's start from that point, right? Let's say your side hustle has grown, and you're deciding to make that business your full-time baby, right? You're growing that business. You're at a point where you can leave your day job to focus on your business. How can you get the funding for it? So you have number one was prepare yourself, right? Make sure you're right. Number two is go ahead and get yourself a business credit card or a small line of credit. So your business has generated revenue from it, right? Your side hustle, which is still created as a business because you follow the steps.
And which you should have a separate bank account for. And be doing accounting and all of the things.
Yep.
Just like you were running it full time.
Exactly. So even though it's a side hustle, it's a separate entity, and you managed it as a business. But now, so you still have generating income. You have good credit. You can apply for a business credit card for your business or a small line of credit from your bank, because you yourself are in a position that the bank feels comfortable lending to your business because they can possibly get their money back using you as a personal guarantee. So apply for a credit card or apply for a small business line of credit. That gives you that flexibility for working capital.
Is there a specific terms or a specific credit card that you would recommend for starting businesses?
I'm partial to American Express.
Okay. And why is that?
Because American Express is very small business focused. So they don't only do credit cards, but they do lines of credits. American Express does bank accounts. Like their claim to fame is small businesses. They actually created the
Small Business Saturday.
Yep, Small Business Saturday. That was an American Express initiative. So I like American Express. And once you're in their ecosystem, you get access to all kinds of additional funding or opportunities for funding that they come up with. Grants too. So
American
I'm partial
Express.
to that. Yeah,
Cool.
American Express.
Okay.
Or another option would be, if you have an account at your local bank or credit union, get one of their cards. Get your local bank's card because you have a relationship with them.
Right.
So that's another thing I would say in preparation for small business financing. Make sure you're building a relationship with whoever you have your account with. Talk to the business banker. Get to know them. Let them know what you're doing, what your business is about. Build that relationship so that when it comes time for funding, they can be your advocate.
Yeah, that's good. Is there anything that you recommend avoiding?
In the beginning?
Mm-hmm.
I recommend I recommend being desperate for money. I recommend avoiding being desperate for money.
Like, what?
I recommend, because when people are desperate for money, they go after these high interest, kind of like shark loans, shark funding.
You're paying more in interest.
Yes.
You can't get ahead because you're paying so much in interest.
Yes. Yeah. And there are purposes for those types of funds, but not for a business that's going to utilize that as working capital, right? Not for a business that has like long-term plans with that money. So you have to really prepare. Stay away from those in the beginning, because you don't want to take all of your revenue, all of your profit to pay a loan obligation in the beginning. Yeah. That's a recipe for disaster.
And another thing too is, if you don't have good personal credit, because I'm sure that there's a lot of people that are like, I have no collateral, my personal credit is terrible, and I want to start a business. What do I do? That might mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that might mean that it might not be a great time to start a business.
Correct.
And you might need a reality check, like, hey, let's get things in order personally before, because there's a reason, right? There's a reason that banks won't lend money. It's they don't want to lose money on you.
Right.
And so I think just be realistic on what you're able to do. And just because it might not be right now doesn't mean that you have to give up on your dream and that you're never going to be a business owner. It just might take a little bit longer.
Yeah, definitely don't quit your day job if you're personally not ready to. If your personal credit profile is not where it needs to be, and when I say where it needs to be, if your credit score is below a 680, then work on your credit score. Like, focus on that. Focus on your personal profile before thinking about quitting your job to start a business. Unless you get access to a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
If you get access to a lot of cash, then you don't need to worry about it, But the majority of people, in reality, don't have that opportunity. They don't come from that ability to do that. So make sure that you're preparing yourself for success and not preparing yourself for struggle.
And you might have a business too where you don't necessarily need a whole lot of money to get started. I mean, say you're running a photography business. You want to be a photographer and you're shooting weddings on the weekend and you already have your camera and the lights and the equipment that you need and you slowly purchase all of that. You might not necessarily want a big studio and, all the fancy things. And so credit isn't necessarily for everybody. You can also just take money out of your profits and put it back into your business. Sometimes it takes longer to do it that way because you're just funding your business through your profit. But so credit it doesn't mean that if you don't get credit that you can't start a business too, right, for specific industries.
Yeah, especially now, one of the fastest growing industries is the creator economy, they call it. So if you're a YouTuber or wannabe YouTuber or vlogger, Instagrammer, TikToker, whatever that is, you do that with your phone. Mm-hmm. So you don't really need a lot of capital to start, but you want to focus on growing that, making sure that begins to generate its own money so that you can reinvest it in your business. But all right, let's say your business does need money. You've prepared yourself, right? You have good relationships with your bank. Here's ways to get to look at for startups, right? And here's the options. You can bootstrap it. You can bootstrap your business, meaning work your own cash, get a home equity line of credit, take out of your investment or retirement account. You're self-funding your business, so you're bootstrapping it. Another option is to do crowdfunding, right? Some businesses start out with some businesses that have a great idea or a great product that they want to offer that's pretty innovative. They'll do Kickstarter campaigns or GoFundMe type of campaign or something.
Those are really popular for a while.
They are.
I feel like they're dying off a little bit though.
I think they're becoming more niche. So you have to have like a something kind of like new and innovative,
right,
to take advantage of that.
Yeah, because people were funding things that weren't necessarily related to business.
Like anything and everything. Yeah, it's crazy. Boy, I think I heard of a report where, I don't know if it was Indiegogo, because that's another crowdfunding platform, or Kickstarter, where somebody just put an idea that they had. There was no prototype.
Oh, no plan or prototype or anything.
They just posted an idea, and people were giving them money to it.
Oh, my gosh.
It was
We're
like
going to fly to the stars.
in the world. Yeah, for real. But people actually invested money in that, which was crazy.
Wow.
But now it's a little different story. That environment has matured a little bit. So it's definitely a niche more style, but it's another way to generate revenue if you're starting out and you have some type of product that's kind of innovative, to get people to invest in it and to get funding for your business. You have grants.
That's another one.
There's a lot of grants out there. They're hard to find, but they're out there.
Grants are intimidating, I think.
They are, because the process, the application process alone,
and
can
finding
be daunting.
Them.
Yep.
And most of them are for nonprofits, but there are some that are for-profit businesses too.
There are, yeah, especially in this environment that we're in, post-COVID. The government is unleashing a lot of money through the SBA and through grants for small businesses. There's actually an innovator program with the SBA that's a grant that new startups can apply for. Restaurants, believe it or not. There's a program out there for restaurants, but you got to go through some type of training program, like an incubator style training program that then you can get funding after you graduate or complete that program.
I feel like all grants should have that.
They should.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah.
In order to get this money, this is what we're expecting. Yeah.
Go through the business project course before you get funding.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
But
right.
I think if you go through the business project course, then you should be prepared to get funding.
Right.
For real. Because you
All your
would have
ducks
gotten
are
all
in
the
order.
tools. Yeah. You would have gotten all the ducks in order. Your business plan is solid. You can present that to anyone. Your pitch is solid. Go talk to anybody and it should be easy to get funding.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So we said personal guarantees, grants, crowdfunding, credit cards we talked about.
Lines of credits.
Lines of credit.
SBA.
Let's talk about that.
So
Small business
administration. Yes. SBA is another way to get funding for your business. And
that's a government entity, right?
Yep. It's the government entity. What they do is they guarantee the loans. Now, SBA typically requires you to be in business for 2 years. So as long as you have 2 years in business, chances are you have an opportunity to get funding from the SBA. And right now, they're actually loosening their requirements. So there's some programs out there that the SBA has where you don't even have to provide documentation as long as you have good credit. Well, the SBA will use your personal credit as a deciding factor. So it's not just on the business. You're personally guaranteeing it. But if you have good credit, you can get a loan through the SBA right now with no proof of documentation as long as your business has been established for over 2 years. It's pretty slick.
Yeah. So what are some disadvantages to the SBA?
The SBA, the disadvantage is the length of time. So it could take anywhere from like 30 to 90 days average to get a loan from the SBA. You have to go through a lending institution to get a loan with the SBA, and then they will throw their own overlays on top of it, which can make it difficult because the SBA only guarantees a portion of the loan, not all of it, kind of like an FHA loan for a house or something like that. So you still have to go through a bank to get an SBA guaranteed loan. So yeah, and that all that stuff can be daunting. The paperwork that can be required to go through the SBA can be daunting. But with this new program that's out there, looks like they're starting to look at more innovative ways to make money available for businesses.
We have John's link in the show notes of this podcast too. So if you guys ever have questions, if you're interested in doing this, because I've personally seen him work with several small businesses on financing and getting SBA loans. And so he's a great resource for you guys. I'm not volunteering your time, but I'm volunteering your time.
I'm more than happy to help anyone that has questions in regards to that, point you in the right direction, or help you myself.
Yeah, because I know it can be daunting, and you even go to the SBA website or, go to a bank, and is this banker really looking for my good, or is he just trying to make a paycheck and all of that? I know it can be intimidating. So
yeah, and one thing about the banks that is tough for small business owners is, banks have quotas. Let's just say quote unquote quotas. It's not really like they have to close so many loans in a month, but they have to move on. They don't have the time to spend typically with a small business owner to kind of guide you in the process as far as how to prepare you.
So they're like, you're approved or you're not approved.
Exactly.
Move on.
Exactly. Yeah. So, number one, you want to build that relationship still, but also prepare yourself and have that conversation with people that can actually guide you through the process and make sure that you're ready to go. Fundable, we call it.
Fundable.
Yep. Want to make you fundable. Yep.
Fundable.
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 So there's one last step, and this is what's good about this is that in our next segment, we're actually going to break these down, and we're going to tackle them piece by piece so that you know exactly what to expect when it comes to getting some financing or becoming fundable. But the last one is venture capital.
Venture capital.
And that's
What is
just
that?
finding investors that will invest in your business. So you got to have a good pitch. And I think we spoke about that previously, right? In one of our podcasts. If you missed it, go back. But practice your pitch, because you have to be able to sell your business to someone that will then give you money towards that business.
And I think this is another one where people think, I have an amazing idea. And I'm not trying to discourage you or say that your idea is not amazing. I'm just saying a lot of times business owners are unrealistically optimistic about what they're doing and what they're, because they are excited about it and they are sold in and they see the vision and they see the potential, and or it's a lot of times they start it because it's something that they're passionate about or because it's a problem that they needed solving, so they started a business. But it's unrealistic a lot of times because people that you're talking to are not as optimistic as you are, because they don't see what you see in your head, and or they didn't have that problem that needed solving. And so I think, I don't remember where I was going with this. I don't even remember. Venture capitalists, yes. So I love it. I think people think, oh, I'll just go find an investor and it'll be no big deal. But it's a lot harder than it sounds. Yeah. Not saying that it's not possible, but it is harder because you have to take everything that's in your head, your vision and your passion and your idea, and you have to put that in an investor's head and get them excited about it too.
Right. That's where your preparation comes in, right? So if that's where your business plan, your pitch deck, and all that pre-preparation on knowing your product or service that you're going to bring to market, knowing you're doing your SWOT analysis on it. You know your strengths, your weaknesses, you know your opportunities, you know your threats, right? So you have all of that down so that when you present it and you speak to a potential investor, you're able to overcome those hurdles of questions back. So preparation is key to getting venture capital funding for a business.
And doing your research and trying to be as realistic as possible about the numbers. Because I feel a lot of investors can look at, they're going to want to see your number. What are your projections and what are you expecting to make? And if it looks like you're going to launch your business in a month and be a millionaire, then they're going to have some questions about that. A lot of times they can see through that. Yeah. So making sure that you're realistic about your return.
For sure. Like if you haven't, and we bring up all these things and they don't sponsor us, but if you haven't seen the show Shark Tank, like take some time and watch Shark Tank. That's a good idea of how you would try to present a business to an investor and try to get one to invest in your business. Right. They go through some.
They're not emotionally connected to the products and services.
Not at all.
No. Mm-mm. They're like, show me the money.
Yeah. So there you go. Now, in our next segment, we're actually going to break down how you can establish your business so that the business itself can get financing without you as a personal guarantee. So that's going to be good, and that's where you start really setting yourself apart from your business completely. And there's a lot of steps involved in making that happen, but it's very doable.
So we're done with this series. This is the 15th episode of this series. And as we mentioned at the beginning, we've taken you step by step on creating your business. And so we're going to take a week break. We're going to take a break next week and just gather our thoughts, and we're going to launch an entirely new series the week after next week.
Yes.
And it's going to be 5 lessons.
Episodes, yep.
And episodes, and all of it is going to be strictly on financing.
Yep.
Building up your business credit.
Yep. Creating that separate entity, like you're nurturing your baby. We're taking your baby from infant stage to adolescent stage.
And even if you haven't even started your business yet, if you just started your business or you've been in business for a while, we will make it applicable. That was a good word. applicable to everybody. So make sure that you guys follow along on the podcast, no matter where you're watching. Click the little bell and hit follow and check back with us. Again, we'll take a break next week, but we will be right back for 5 episodes.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Have a good one. Enjoy your holidays and New Year and all that good stuff.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Peace out.
Peace.